They say the dead can't talk, that once we cross over, we take our secrets with us. But in the winter of 1897, a young woman from Greenbrier, West Virginia, refused to stay silent. She didn't just haunt her killer, she testified from beyond the grave. This is the chilling case of Zona Heaster, the only murder victim in US history to help solve her own case as a ghost. In the fall of 1896, a man named Edward Shue arrived in town. A blacksmith by trade, Edward's skills were in hot demand, and he quickly landed a job at a local shop owned by a man named Mr. Crookshanks. It wasn't long before Edward's charming smile and easy manner captured the heart of a local young woman. Zona Heaster, 10 years his junior, and Zona, she fell fast. Who wouldn't? Edward had swagger, mystery, and a jawline straight out of a dime novel. Within weeks, they were married. But Zona's mother, Mary Jane Heaster, she wasn't celebrating. Something about Edward felt wrong, and soon her mother's instincts would prove terrifyingly accurate. Just a few months into their marriage, something changed. Zona, once full of life, grew quiet, withdrawn. She was pregnant and under the care of Dr. Knapp, but kept her pregnancy a secret. A boy named Andy Jones often ran errands for the couple, carrying messages between their home and Edward's blacksmith shop. A simple job, or so it seemed, because not long after, something strange happened in that house. And Andy? He might have seen more than he should have. One cold afternoon in January 1897, Andy stopped by Edward's shop. Edward sent him to check on Zona. When Andy arrived, he found her at the bottom of the staircase, face down, one hand trapped beneath her chest, the other outstretched, her neck twisted unnaturally. Panicked, Andy ran to his mother, who fetched Dr. Knapp. But when the doctor arrived, Zona's body wasn't where Andy had found it. Edward had moved her upstairs, dressed her in a stiff, high-collared burgundy dress, the same one she'd worn the day they met. He cradled her, sobbing, and refused to let anyone near her neck. Dr. Knapp, unsettled but deferring to Edward's demands, declared her death an everlasting faint due to pregnancy complications. Zona's body was taken to the undertakers, but Edward's behavior grew increasingly odd. He insisted on helping with the final preparations, arranging her in a casket, draping a scarf around her neck, and placing extra clothes by her head so she could rest easier. At her funeral, Edward paced around the casket, adjusting every detail, drawing puzzled and weary looks from the crowd, especially from Zona's mother, Mary, who watched with a growing sense of foreboding. Just like that, the case was closed, for now. Weeks pass, but Zona's mother, Mary Jane Heaster, can't shake the feeling that something is off. Edward's behavior at the funeral was strange, obsessive, possessive. He wouldn't let anyone get too close to the body. He even patted her head with a scarf and clothes, claiming it would help her rest easier. Mary Jane isn't buying it. She prays, pleads for her daughter to send her a sign. And then one night, Zona does. At first, it's just a flickering light, a faint whisper in the dark. But over 4 nights, Zona's spirit becomes clearer, stronger, and she tells her mother the truth. Edward wasn't just controlling. He was violent. The abuse had escalated, and on that fateful day, an argument turned deadly. He stabbed her neck too. Zona's ghost even shows Mary how he did it, turning her spectral head at a sickening angle, vertebrae cracking in the silence. Mary Jane doesn't hesitate. She marches to the local prosecutor, John Preston, and demands justice. Now, imagine you're a prosecutor. A grieving mother storms into your office, swearing her daughter's ghost just gave her a full confession. Wild, right? But Preston isn't laughing. He starts asking questions, and the town starts talking. Edward's funeral behavior? Sketchy. His reaction to the doctor touching Zona's neck? Suspicious. The fact that no one really examined her body? A major red flag. Dr. Knapp admits he was never allowed to check Zona's neck. That's enough for Preston. He orders an exhumation. Under the harsh light of a schoolhouse, Zona's body tells her story. A windpipe crushed. Vertebrae snapped clean apart. Finger marks right there on her throat. It's official. Zona didn't just fall, she was murdered. And Mary Jane Heaster, every chilling detail she got from Zona's ghost, absolutely terrifyingly true. Mr. Prester started digging, and what he found wasn't pretty. Edward wasn't really Edward. His real name was Erasmus Stripling Shue. Folks called him a Trout, and Trout, he had a past. A bad one, 2 wives before Zona, and some time in prison. Trouble seemed to follow him wherever he went. Back in 1885, he married his first wife, had a daughter, then got caught stealing a horse. But that wasn't why she left him. No, she'd been waiting for her chance. He beat her regularly, and when he got locked up, she ran. When Trout got out, he found his second wife, Lucy. Less than a year later, Lucy was dead. A mysterious cause, as they said, but folks had their doubts. Whispers of murder chased him out of town. Next stop, Greenbrier. That's where he met Zona, married her, and soon after murdered her. Edward was arrested and put on trial in June 1897. His lawyer tries to make Mary Jane look crazy. She thinks a ghost solved this case, but the jury, they don't laugh. They take less than an hour to convict him of murder. Life in prison, the town isn't satisfied. 30 men with ropes and rifles gather to lynch Edward, but the sheriff sneaks him away. Edward spends 3 miserable years behind bars, making creepy folk art, waiting, watching. And I can't help but wonder, did Zona visit him too? Because in 1900, Edward Shue died mysteriously in his cell. Maybe it was fate, maybe it was justice, or maybe, just maybe, Zona got the last word. This case remains the only one in US history where a ghost's testimony helped convict a murderer. Mary Jane Heaster never wavered. She took her daughter's message, straight from beyond the grave, and forced the world to listen. And Edward? Well, whether it was karma spirits or just a little divine intervention, let's just say he didn't get away with it. What do you think? Did Zona really come back to tell her story? Or is it just a mother's intuition working overtime? Let us know in the comments below. And remember, sometimes the dead refuse to stay silent. Subscribe for more true crime, and we'll see you in the next video.